Well, today we're going to make this video in English because I have a guest over here, which is super special, and her name is Alayna. So, I met Alayna on a trip. So, we're gonna talk a bit about our life and we're gonna start like asking some questions to her. And Alayna, how does faith look like for you?
I would say, for me, faith looks like the way I live my life. I think there's so many different things that you can do that would define how your life looks, and I want my entire life to revolve around the Lord. Being a Christian is a big deal for me. It's something that should define every aspect, and so faith is the daily walk to choose to become more like Christ every day.
Wow. So you have always been Christian?
Yeah, I became Christian when I was really younger. My dad's a pastor, so I grew up in the church, and so I kind of got to see what it looked like to become a Christian, to live with a Christ-like mindset. And so when I was 5 is when I gave my life to the Lord, and then I think there were a lot of different steps along the way as I got older that I understood a little bit more about what it means to be a Christian and become more like Christ through worship, through my actions, through the words that I speak, through the thoughts I have, through the ways I can interact with people. So, yeah.
How is that moment, like you said, you get to know Christ at 5?
Yeah.
Even though you were since little baby,
yeah,
in a church. But how was that moment when you said, okay, I decide to follow Christ?
Yeah.
How it was?
Yeah, it was, I remember it really clearly. I feel like for being 5, I wouldn't expect to remember moments like that, except it was so powerful. It was over something really dumb. I was arguing with my sister about something, and
It was in your house?
It was at my house. I wasn't willing to share. I have 3 sisters, and we would always get in arguments, and my mom would try to step in and help us and point us towards the Lord through the way she resolved it. And with this one, I wasn't willing to share something, and my mom sat me down, and in the simplest gospel presentation, she just explained, the Lord, Jesus shared his life with us. He, died for us on the cross, in a very beautiful way and in a very simple way. And the way she explained it was so simple that a 5-year-old could understand it. And, I realized my need for a savior at that point. And, yeah, I remember exactly where I was. I remember what the fight was over. It's imprinted in my brain because it was such a sweet moment.
Yeah, as you said, it was something that happens at 5 years old is not something that you easily remember, right?
Yeah.
Because at that age, it's okay, I just remember what I see in pictures, but not what it happens really at that moment. Because our mind try to trick us sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. But do you think it is hard to be a Christian, or how? You say that you had a daily life in Christ, and that you try every day to be something you give to Christ.
Yeah.
But do you think it is hard to be a Christian?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the context you put yourself in. The worldly pressure can definitely make the situation harder. I think following Christ is hard no matter what you do. There are things he's going to ask you to do or ask you to walk through that are going to be hard. But for me, I experienced the hardships of being a Christian, specifically when I went to my first college. I went to 2 colleges. It was not a Christian college, and there was no believers that I met during my year there. And there was a lot of pressure to conform to the world and to do all the things that they were doing, that were chasing the pleasures of alcohol, of drugs, of sex, all the different things that the world tells you will provide for you. That dose of, I don't know, of pleasure. And I wasn't willing to conform to that. And so I saw the ways that I was broken, but I also was kind of pushed to the side of, this girl's she's a weird Christian, she won't do anything, she's not fun, or she's judging us, or yeah. So I think experiences like that do make being a Christian hard. It's something Jesus experienced as well. He had so many interactions with people who didn't agree with him, or who openly disagreed with him. And yeah, there's a lot of good examples from him that I desire to follow in my life of he loved them even as they were like hanging them on the cross. Like he had grace for them. And I'm not perfect either. Like it's not like I'm a Christian so I have it figured out and everybody else does it. Like there's still things and ways that I sin that then the Lord convicts me and
we all sin.
Yes. But it's never a fun feeling to be like, oh man, that was wrong and I know it's wrong. I have to run back to the Father and submit back to his grace and his
just as David did, right?
Yeah.
That it was not the problem that he sinned, but it was like the way he go back to the Father, as you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice. You said you were a pastor kid, and which do you think, as a pastor kid, has been one of the greatest challenges?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like people normally like, oh, you're a pastor's kid. Oh, you get it.
Like, yeah, because they say like, it's an easy life, but it is not, right?
Right. I actually had a conversation like 2 hours ago. Someone was like, literally said that they were a pastor's kid. I was like, oh, me too. And they were like, you get it. And they gave me like a whole fist bump. I was like, oh gosh. But I think it's true. I do get it because being like my parents, their lives and like the influence they've had on my life has been the biggest blessing. Like they're like my best friends right now. And I love them. But like there was an expectation that I had it all together. I knew all the right answers. And so that was something that was hard for me to really make my faith my own at some point because like in Sunday school or in youth group, like people were like, oh, nobody knows the answer. All right, Alayna, will you tell us the answer? Like it was just the expectation. You know it and you probably have it all together.
Like they put pressure on you.
Yeah. And I don't think that was helpful. I don't think they intentionally did it. And the truth is I did know a lot of answers, but it was more of like a head knowledge versus a heart knowledge of what the Lord like had done in my life and was doing in my life. I knew all the right answers to the Bible stories or how we pray and we spend time with the Lord and journal through this Devo and all these authors and like I knew all that. But there's a difference between knowing all those facts and having like a relationship with the Lord, like a knowledge of all that he's done for you and being reliant on him. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wait, what you said right now, it just reminded me about what I just read this morning. And it was like in Romans, they talk us about having the mind of Christ.
Yeah.
But you said something right now that is super important. We have the mind of Christ at this moment, but it's not just knowledge. It's not the wisdom of the world. It's not like the way the world like try to make us feel like you know everything, so you are going to be saved, right? So it's not that what it saves you. Yeah. But as a way you feel this knowledge, it's changing something on your life. It's not just like getting on your head. So it's changing something. It's making a change. So as you said, sometimes we expect to be like perfect, to have all the knowledge so we can share with somebody else. Yeah. But just as knowing a little bit of it, a little bit of God and sharing it, that's the only important thing. Yeah. So that's super, super important as a Christian, knowing that. Also, if it's a Christian, anybody, and it's a Christian from many years, don't put the pressure on it. Yeah. They're sinners just the same. And they need the Lord's love just the same. Yeah. And do you feel God is calling you? And how do you feel God is calling you? Because God calls to everybody. Yeah. Right? Because it said that there are many the ones that are called, but there's some just that are chosen. So how do you feel he has chosen you? Oh, that is a good question. And it's such a big question. Oh, gosh. I think there's a lot of different things the Lord has placed on my heart with a very beautiful intentionality. Like one of them being like, I love kids and I would love to pour into kids, whether it's like my own or whether it's in like a ministry context or a mission field. Like I think I have such a deep desire to pour into the next generation and into sharing the Lord with him in a way that like, I know my life has been so different because I was able to become a Christian so early on and like grow into that. I just want the opportunity for others. I think another calling would just be like sharing the gospel it doesn't matter what mission field I'm in. Like it could be
it could be overseas, like on like an actual mission trip. It could be I'm a missionary. It could be I work in some 9 to 5 business, and like the person in my cubicle, like that's my mission field. I think like I never want to be ashamed of the gospel or have it be on Sunday I go to church, and then Monday through Friday I have my work, and then maybe I'll do a devo. Like I don't want that life. Like I want it to be something that's like I have to talk about. Like I can't. You can't have a conversation with me without like the gospel coming out, or like me being a witness to Christ, even if it doesn't come out of my words, like in my actions, in like the way I communicate with people, the way I make people feel seen. I want that to reflect the Lord, because everything's supposed to point back to Him. Yeah.
I liked something you had said, not at this moment, but I had listened to some of your prayers, and some things, like you said, God, let this moment, if we're going to eat or something, and one of the things you said, and I like it, and I have taken for me now, is like, God, let this conversation we're going to take, it glorifies you.
Yeah.
And it's something super important, because just as you said right now, like your actions, like your sayings, but everything should glorify Him.
Right.
So also the missionary fields, like it doesn't need to be overseas.
Yeah.
Like, it would be wherever you are.
Yeah.
As you said, if you're in your job, you can make something for this guy who is just next to you, and you can share the gospel and make it happen, and make that Christ get in their hearts, just because you're sharing the gospel, and not necessarily will be with words, but it would be with your actions as well.
Yeah.
So which would be one thing you recommend to these generation of youth Christians, but also like we were going to focus first to the youth, but then you also recommend to this generation that is like they have many years in being Christians, but now they need to prepare the next generation as well.
That's a good question too. Good question. I would say I would recommend like making the Lord not just like a checked box of like, oh, I woke up and I did my Bible reading. Check on to the next, like, kind of like I said earlier, like putting in such a big effort to make sure the Lord is the center of everything, and my life revolves around Him rather than Him being one of the things that's revolving around my life. I think that changes your whole mindset and changes the way that you live as a Christian. Yeah, and I think like our actions speak really loudly to the next generation. Like the example I had of my parents, like they were in the Word constantly. They were asking what the Lord's teaching me. They were having really biblically grounded conversations with me from a young age, and that gave me such a basis, such an anchor for who I am today. Yeah, I think kids watch and they observe, and you know, like I don't know if this is really a fact, but it's something I've heard of. Like you become the 5 people that you surround yourself with. Like that's who you become. Like choosing who you surround yourself with. Like the Lord is calling you to witness to a lot of different people, but you're like you're in an inner circle of like these are my friends that I know will point me back to the Lord. Like choosing those friends is really important and key to who you're going to become and the ways that you get to reflect the Lord. Yeah.
That reminds me of the story of this guy who could not walk, and the friends there of the roof for him to walk and to take him to Jesus. So yeah, just as you said, the 5 people that surrounds you is super important. There's 5 people that are closer to you. They're super important.
Yeah.
Because if they take you to Jesus, it's like super good. But if they're not taking it to Jesus, like be careful with them. Careful with them, because you're getting involved in something that is not glorifying the Lord.
Right. Exactly. And in that story, like he wasn't the one who had the faith. Like his friends had the faith, and maybe like I can't remember how long he'd been unable to walk for. It was like 20 years. I don't know what it was, but like he wasn't the one who had the faith. In the moment to get there, like his friends had the faith, and they like pushed him towards the Lord. They like physically did, I guess, or like lured him to the Lord. But like if you don't have friends who are gonna push you towards the Lord, you're never even gonna get there. And like the Lord made us to be in community with others.
Yeah.
So it, it's so important. Yeah.
Yeah, community is super, super important. Do you think worship is important, and why do you think it's important?
Oh my gosh.
Or why not?
Oh, I think it's so important. Don't worry, I think that. I think worship can look so many different ways. For me personally, like worship, like it's with music and it's with like raising my hand to the Lord and praising Him and singing songs about His character, about something that in me reflects Him, or praising Him for how holy He is, how powerful He is. I think that's one way we can worship. I think it also worships Him, like to see the things that He's created and point it back to Him. Like for me, like the mountains, like always, 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 like I can go into the mountains, it doesn't matter how I'm feeling, the day I'm having, the week I'm having. Like if I'm in the mountains, like I can see the works of His hands and see the magnitude of His power and the beauty of His creation. Like mountains are massive, and then there can be like the smallest little flower with the smallest little bee on it. And I'm like, He made each intricate detail from like the magnitude to the small detail, and like He looks at me and He calls me more beautiful, and that like He loves me more than that. So like making sure I don't just go, oh, that's beautiful, and then move on. Like it has to be like, oh, it's beautiful, and that points to the Lord. Like it can't just stop at this point. That's the biggest way I would think I would worship. I worship that, and singing is just, it's so important. It helps revolve your days around Him. It helps revolve your thoughts and your words and your conversations around the Lord, because each thing should be in order to glorify Him. And one of the verses I was memorizing is Psalm 27:4. There's one thing I desire, is to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, and like singing glory to it. Like if that's all I get to do with my life, like that's enough. Like that will fulfill me, because our purpose as humans is to glorify Him and to honor Him. So yeah, I think worship is so important, and there's so many different ways we can do it. And I love seeing the different ways that different people get to do it. Like some people are so hospitable and they welcome people in their house, and that is glorifying the Lord. Or they use their different gifts to worship the Lord through things that He's given them. Yeah.
And I feel like, yes, as you said, the gifts God gave you,
Yeah.
they're like to put on His hands, and also like making a ministry of them, and that way you're going to worship not just God, but you're also going to worship, like serving others. You would worship God. I always said like serving it goes like a cross, because we go up and we make it for Him, but also we make it to our community and to all of us. So that's why we have like a cross, and serving as a cross is super important.
Yeah. I've never heard that like demonstration. I like it.
Yeah. So just to finish up, in one word, how would you describe Jesus?
Oh my gosh. That's so hard. I had like 8 words immediately. Oh. Oh my gosh, I can't choose one. I have so many in my head. Like the first thought though is like, Jesus is friend. Like He is closer than any parent, any friend, anybody else I know, because He sees everything I'm walking through, and He knows all my thoughts. Like if something's hard for me and I don't talk about it to a friend, like the Lord knows, and I can talk to Him at any point, and He's always going to be there. And He's so reliable, and He gives the best advice. He's a comforter. Well, I just gave like 4 more words, but He's a friend. That's what I think. Yeah.
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 But a friend involves many things also. So yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Alayna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alayna, for this time. Thank you for putting yourself also like in your daily life to worship the Lord.
Yeah.
And continue worshiping the Lord, and everything you do.
I will.
Continue serving Him, but also like not just having the mind of Christ as like in knowledge, but also having the mind of Christ in your attitudes. Like you put it on action. So thank you very much for having this time and making this space for recording this.
Yes, of course.
But
It was my honor.
but thank you very much. Thank you very much, and I hope to maybe sometime in the future we record again.
I would love to. That'd be so fun.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course.